Rabbi Nissim Yagen, Alav Shalom, on Pesach. So I want to read the introduction over here. He says that the $1 billion question is, when will Mashiach come? All right, in the month of Nissan, we know we were redeemed and we will be redeemed, but when will he come? So the Gemara Sechet Sanhedrin says, in a generation that is entirely zechut or entirely chayav, entirely righteous or entirely guilty. So the question is, when will you have such a generation? Everybody's going to be a tzaddik? That's very hard. Everybody's going to be a rasha? I can't believe it. Everybody's going to be a rasha? What does that mean that Mashiach will come in such a generation? So he says something unbelievable. He says that when is Mashiach going to come? When every person decides if he's a tzaddik or if he's a rasha. No more half-half. No more in the middle. That person, a lot of times, people, they can't decide. What am I? He's a tzaddik a little bit today. He's a tzaddik a little bit of rasha tomorrow. In the morning he prays like a tzaddik. In the evening he goes to shtuyot like a rasha. Each person himself can't decide if he's a Republican or Democrat. He can't decide which side he's on. In the generation when each person decides, that's it. No more. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be truthful to myself. I am going to be what I believe I should be. That's when Mashiach is going to come. When we're all real with ourselves and decide, what am I? Some people, they say, listen, I keep what I can keep, what I can try to keep, slowly, step by step. You know, Rabbi, it's hard. I understand. And some people exempt themselves completely and say, listen, Rabbi, at least you have good heart. You have a good heart, that's good enough. Don't worry about it. So what happens? He says a story, the Yom Kippur War, he was in the war, the Rabbi Yagen. He was in the war, and his unit was evacuated. They evacuated wounded soldiers from the field. So what happened? One of them walked over a mine, and he blew up, and he lost a lot of his limbs. But they didn't know how to tell his father. His father came to the hospital. How's my son? How's my son? So then the doctor tried to find a way to speak to him. So he said to him, listen, don't worry. Your son has a strong heart. So the father got calmed down. He said, okay, it means good sign, good news. So then he goes and he sees his son, mamash, in pieces. And he says to the doctor, what is this? What did you tell me? So what? He has a good heart. He can't do nothing with this. What is he going to do with this? So he says the same thing. A guy says, okay, I don't do mitzvot. Okay, I do averot. As long as you have a good heart. But what's it going to help you, this good heart, if you can't control yourself and you can't do anything good with it? You can't go and do any mitzvot with it. You can't go and hold yourself from doing sins with this good heart. So therefore, what does it help if you can't do anything with it? So therefore, he says, that that the Gemara says at the end, when all the signs of Mashiach will come, chutzpah will be very strong, and the young will make the older get up for them, and a lot of very, very interesting signs that we see very applicable today, inflation and whatnot.
What you're doing now.
Right. But you should know that in our days we will be redeemed similar to the way we were redeemed in times of Egypt. That what? That there will be tremendous miracles, and there should be completely miracles that we never saw in our life. But one thing is that we know that in the previous redemption, not all the Jews left. It says Hamushim Alu. It says that only 20% of the Jewish people left, 1/5 left Egypt. If you do 600,000 men, right? And you do, they're all married between 20 to 60, so it's 1.2 million people. And then, so maybe you add kids or whatever it is, right? At least 1.2 million Jews left, and that was only 20%. You do the math, do that times 5, 6 million Jews. 6 million Jews total, and only 1.2 left. How could it be? Because all those other people did not believe. All those other people said, no, I want to stay. What are we going to do in the Pustenia? What are we going to do in the desert? Where is Moshe Rabbeinu taking us? Come on, you guys are all living in a dream. We're going to make Aliyah, and we're going to go and live in the chosen land, the chosen people. Come on, dengue is here, life is here, my friends are here, my business is here. Why would I leave? It's good here. Therefore, this is the mentality that 80% of the Jews had, and they didn't want to leave with Moshe Rabbeinu, even though there was the 10 plagues, even though there was miracles upon miracles. So therefore, you would think that a person would understand, and no, it's hard. They hit a test then. You should know, says it again, we will have the same test. The time will come when redemption here, and a person will have to push himself and say, I heard about these times. This is the Mashiach. I have to go and make the teshuvah. I have to change. I have to make that leap of faith. And don't be like those Jews who were left behind and didn't want to make that jump, but didn't want to leave Moshe Rabbeinu, and they stayed behind. In Chas Shalom, they ended up on the wrong end of the story. So therefore, a person has to know we have to make teshuvah today and not tomorrow, because if you wait till tomorrow, Chas Shalom, it'll be the day of, and you won't be prepared to make the right decision. So therefore, a person cannot miss the train. A person cannot miss the train. He has to start doing teshuvah now. As he says, there's a famous story that there was a couple that kept calling him. He used to make a lot of Shabbatons, Rabbi Yagen, to make people chazer b'teshuvah. So he said there was a story, there was a family who always called to book me a room. I'm coming to the hotel for the weekend, for the seminar. I'm coming, book a room for my family. And they always used to flake at the last minute. They always say, no, it didn't work out. My husband felt sick. My husband has business. There's that. Always they cancel. And then there was a big seminar, big weekend getaway right before the holidays, and they called last minute. Please give us a room. And he said, listen, there's no more rooms. We're fully booked. That's it. It's done. He said, no, please, I beg of you. My husband finally agreed. He's actually going to come this time. I'm sorry, we canceled. Please, it's the one chance that these people are not so religious. There's a big chance to make them chazer b'teshuvah. So he goes and he says, you know what? Okay, I found one more room. Where did he gave his own room, and he asked the hotel, give me some utility closet, give me somewhere to stay, give me somewhere, I don't care where you put me somewhere. And he gave his room to this couple. So what happened? He comes and he sees that they didn't come. They didn't come on the holiday. They weren't there for the Shabbat. So he asked afterwards what happened, and they found out that they were driving there. They got in a big accident. They got in a huge accident. The family survived. Only the husband died. The husband, and he said, what? Rabbi, look, I told my husband, do teshuvah, do teshuvah, do teshuvah. The one time he wanted to, he wasn't able to. Why? Because he said no before, and he said no before, and he said no before. Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, when I wanted, you said no. And when you wanted, Yatosha, I'm also going to say no. You have to say yes when I ask you. When I knock on your door, open the door, because after, if you knock on my door, who knows? Chas v'shalom. So therefore, Rabotai, the month of Geulah is here. We have to make the teshuvah now. Baruch Adonai Olam.